I'm here with Usec Anton Mauricio. He is the General Manager of NDC. And for our audience, please tell us what is NDC?
The National Development Company is the oldest government investment company. In fact, we're the oldest GOCC, and we are the state investment arm of the Philippine government.
And I was just noticing in the brochure, the board of members that you have there from the different parts of the government. What exactly does NDC do for the Philippines in terms of investments and growing the economy?
Well, we are the oldest, so we're celebrating 104 years old. We've invested in 117 companies in our history, and some of them still exist. And basically, at the time, 1919, we were really the only government vehicle that was supposed to handle Philippine development. We've been underutilized for the past couple of decades because government has since grown bigger and has a lot of projects. And since then, we identify gaps that the government is not doing for one reason or the other. And so that's where we are useful. And we have a very powerful charter. We are not constrained to any single industry. And our investing sizes, normally we at a minimum 5 million. We don't usually want anything lower than that. And normally the big sizes would be 150 million pesos. And we normally don't invest anything more than that unless it is very strategic, like our satellite investment, and eventually our renewable energy investments. We have a waste to energy. So there's a lot of things that we're doing. But if I can continue on why we are here at the in this technology and innovation forum, it's because we set up the Philippine Innovation Hub. This is in coordination with the National Innovation Council, which is headed by the President of the Philippines. So the National Innovation Council is the prime innovation policy-making body. And so NDC decided to put up a physical headquarters called the Philippine Innovation Hub. And we are the headquarters of, among other things, the Philippine e-commerce platform, which is on beta right now, and the Startup Venture Fund. It's a wealth fund for startups. Okay, and the NDC has $500 million in funding for that. And so I'm the chairman of the investment committee, so we're managing that. And the last one is the Philippine Artificial Intelligence Research Center, or the AI Research Center. And under AI Research Center is fintech, it's AI, it's blockchain, it's cyber, it's meta. So a lot of all these technologies that we want to be able to have a cohesive government response to. And we're launching that in the first quarter of next year.
And when you say government response to and building these hubs, what kind of initiatives are you looking into to perhaps advance, let's talk about emerging technologies like AI and blockchain?
There's a lot, but I'll just give an example of a low-hanging fruit that we're looking at is translation. So for example, when we pitch for foreign investments or accommodate investments here in the Philippines with different parties outside the country, there has to be a better sense of communication. And translation services provided by AI would make our investment pitches better, our communications easier. So we're looking at that, the algorithms that automate the translation for these investment pitches. Another area is we're looking at, our BPOs are already there in AI, in automation, and we want that to be applied to the services that the government is offering to its people, especially in terms of consumer protection, especially in the financial sector. So how are you going to be able to catch these people behind these scams? You have to have, the government has to have these resources to catch them. The third one that we are looking at, it's a government agency to combating fake news. So
Okay.
it's in the works. We're trying to do it, and we're trying to see how it can respond. We'll have to have a whole of government approach to it. So that would involve primarily the PCO and other communications arms of the government. But what NDC wants to do is to be the corporate vehicle to push that. Because without a company that is funded, that is pushing it, the agencies are very limited in what they can do. Anyway, that's my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
What about blockchain?
Yes.
Is there anything in the works for blockchain research or
Yes.
to push the technology and perhaps government services, streamlining it, and even MSME, like entrepreneurs using it for companies?
That's correct. I think the fundamental premise on blockchain is, how do you know it's blockchain? So I just came from the Singapore FinTech Festival, and I was talking to my friend Jaime Garchitoreno, who's now with the Union Bank Group, and he used to head the Credit Information Corporation, and I used to head the credit ratings agency as well, an
Okay.
international credit ratings agency, and we were talking about that. We're talking about data
Right.
and how you use blockchain and how do you address data privacy in the first place. But I said, let's take a look back. How do we know that it's blockchain? So we are looking at an accreditation system recognized by our government, patterning it after how the Singapore does it, how the other countries do it. And then when somebody tells me, oh, I have blockchain, okay, give me the proof that you have blockchain. Who is certifying it? So there has to be a mechanism for us to be able to say, yes, you are blockchain. This independent third party authority has certified you to be blockchain. I think that's where we should start, because people are just saying, oh, I'm blockchain, I'm blockchain, I'm blockchain. But how do we really know? So I think that's where we should start. Yeah.
Like an organization or a group of people who are finding out or looking into these blockchain companies, you
Actually,
mean?
yes and no. Yeah, those companies already exist,
Right.
but government has to have a stake in it, right? The government has to say, okay, yes, we recognize what you're doing, and so we give you, we recognize that that is blockchain, and our recognition means something. Otherwise anybody can just put up something and say, it can be somebody who is out to just make a buck and say,
Right.
okay, I'll set up this
Right.
this accrediting agency, but I'm also the one who set that up to accredit me.
Right.
So to avoid that, we really need a government imprimatur. And that's what I'm looking at, because I don't see anybody. In the FinTech Festival, there's like 100 AI companies and 100 blockchain companies. And that's literally more than 100, because it's the biggest FinTech festival in the world. And I was able to, yeah, that was last week, and I was able to talk to a few of them, I think around 10. And it's overall very promising. Yeah.
So, what are your expectations for NDC and I guess the Philippines in terms of its movement towards digitalization?
I think NDC just basically looks at gaps that the government needs and the NDC can fill. Otherwise, we really take a backseat to the DICT, and for our satellite deal, the Philippine Satellite Agency, the Presidential Advisor Investment Economic Affairs, and of course our chairman is the DTI Secretary Pascual. He oversees everything that we do. So if it's already being done by government and they don't need NDC, that's great. But again, going back to our satellite program, like you're talking about digital transformation when you can't even assure the connectivity of the country, right, for the next 10 years. So we saw that gap.
Okay.
And the problem is the procurement, right? So how do you have to keep on bidding and awarding and procuring, so NDC can help, because we
Maybe
are.
you can use blockchain for the bidding process.
No. No, we don't. That has to be controlled by the government. Blockchain is I don't think that's appropriate for that, but it can be quite useful in many other things. Basically, to make processes unhackable. Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Oh, thank you very much, and I'm glad to be on the show.
I'm here with Mr. Dick Chiang. He is the founder and CEO of DragonPay, one of the pioneer digital payment channels here in the Philippines. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
We are at the first day of the Digital Filipinas Festival 2023. So tell us about your participation here and I guess your relationship as well with Digital Filipinas and the whole digital transformation that the Philippines is heading towards to.
DragonPay has been around since 2010, so we are a payment service provider. So we process everything from online banking to cash payments, e-wallet payments for the major e-commerce players here in the country. Now, we have been working with the Digital Filipinas for maybe 4 or 5 years. I've lost track now. Pretty much there since the start when Amor put together the whole movement. And it is all really about an advocacy to push the Philippines to go digital.
And what have you seen so far in terms of, when your company started and since you participated with Digital Filipinas, how has the Philippines grown in terms of digitalization?
Well, when we started back in 2010, the main mode of payment was really cash. The Philippines is really cash based. But in the last 3 years, primarily due to the pandemic, we have really seen a significant shift. So, whereas before we were processing maybe about 70% of our volume as cash, today it's about 70% about e wallets and online banking. So, it was really a significant change in the last 3 years.
Tell us about, I understand that DragonPay accepts cryptocurrency. Tell us about that.
Yes. Oh, so DragonPay is really all about inclusive payments, right? So I mentioned earlier we accept anything from online banking, e-wallets, cash payments, buy now, pay later, everything. And of course, if you want to accept all sorts of payment, you cannot discount cryptocurrencies. So we have been accepting crypto, the major ones like Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT, the Binance Pay wallet in the last couple of years. So Filipinos mainly living abroad, if they want to buy products and services from merchants here in the Philippines that are being serviced by DragonPay, they can use any of their cryptocurrency to do that. And we have seen many use cases from payments of something like a condominium association due to even a tuition. Filipinos abroad are using crypto as a faster way and a cheaper way to do global payments.
And you mentioned it's Filipinos living abroad. What about the Filipinos living here? Do you see any kind of trend of them using cryptocurrency? Is there a bit of an uptick or a big uptick? What's your observation so far?
The way I see it, the local users of crypto still tend to be more on the investment side, or rather the ones where they put money in Bitcoin hoping it will go up. And of course, there has been up and down, but I guess that's really the cycle of how crypto works. And now it seems to be going up again. But in terms of transactions, we don't really see a lot of local users transacting, meaning paying using Bitcoin or any of the other cryptocurrencies.
Now, being in the industry for many, many years, being a pioneer as well, how do you think can this be pushed forward? Let's say the use of cryptocurrency in the country. I mean, do you even think there is a benefit to that? Is there a difference?
I feel that there is still some sort of a stigma when it comes to cryptocurrencies because of the whole anonymity thing. So people would still associate it with shady things like the dark web or people scamming you or extortion that you pay through Bitcoin because of its anonymity. So I think it's a negative thing. But on the other hand, it is really the fastest way of moving money around. And some of our even B2B partners who are based abroad, instead of asking for the settlement of our collection in traditional banking SWIFT transfers, they would ask, can you do USDT? Because it's faster, it's cheaper, right? So people abroad, I think, have a more progressive view over it compared to the local users. And other than that, I guess you really need a large ecosystem to make any form of currency become popular. So if you look at Gcash, for example, or Maya, it's not really just limited to a specific section of our industry, but really it touches everything because you can go to a supermarket, a drugstore, and make payments through these wallets, right? But crypto hasn't gotten to that level. So I guess that makes it a challenge for when it comes to mass adoption.
In terms of choosing which coins you accept at DragonPay, how do you decide on that?
It's really just looking at the mainstream. So I mentioned earlier USDT, USDC, Ethereum in Bitcoin. I know there are hundreds of other stable coins, but we generally work with exchanges because, of course, even for payment gateways like us, it would be too complicated for us to accommodate so many forms of cryptocurrencies. So we work with the major exchanges. So we are their customer. At the same time, they are our customers when it comes to moving money in or money out into their system, because that's really where we are. We are more of a traditional fiat player. So we help convert fiat to crypto, and then they do the vice versa.
Well, thank you so much for your insights. I learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin wallet, blockchain, stablecoins, MetaNet, the evolution of money. Everybody is talking about Bitcoin today, but what exactly is it? Learn the basics from experts. Learn what Bitcoin is, how it works, and why it matters. Blockchain 101, your ultimate guide to the fundamentals of blockchain.